Hey strangers! Welcome to my second video. This is gonna be a little draw with me, meet the artist where I ramble. I'm gonna try and attempt to draw myself, which is always a challenge. Let's go! So to start off, I set up my desk and I decided to do a couple of little sketches just to warm up. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do for this drawing immediately. I thought about doing a little sketch with me and my cat, or maybe doing a collage of different sketches, but I ended up drawing myself in a portrait mode. And then I drew a little drawing of my cat in the bottom corner at the end, which I really enjoyed. It was a very sketchy way that I did this drawing because I used my pen and then I went over with Posca pen on the top. I quite love working with Posca pens. They just feel so nice and scratchy on the paper. And I want to do more with Posca pens. I've done a couple of comics that I really want to turn into books, and I really want to publish a few different books in the future. I had Siren's book within reaching distance, so I got it out and looked at a few portraits that were inside for quite some time. I used them as inspiration, and I knew that it wasn't going to turn out exactly like that because it's digital art, completely different style. But I wanted to take inspiration because she can draw herself frequently really well, and I cannot. I have such a difficult time drawing myself. So I was just looking at some sketches to kind of get my eyes warmed up, I guess. My style is, at this point, a little semi-realistic, I would say. And this pen sketch, I guess I can do many different types of drawings, but I'm really out of practice with using a pencil. And I actually did film this video 2 other times. Once I tried to revisit an old style that I used to draw in all the time when I was a teenager. I would draw these little characters in my own art style. And so I tried to start out doing that with a pencil. And I'm so out of practice with drawing with pencil. I haven't lined anything for so long. Because typically I'll either go straight in with pen or I won't line it. And in that case, it'll just be a graphite drawing. So the first time I filmed it, I tried to do this stylized version. And I liked the sketch, but it just went awry. I did not like the drawing at all. So then I tried to film it a second time, where I did a pencil sketch that was more realistic to what I draw to now. And I also, I liked the pencil drawing and how it turned out, but I went in with gouache and I completely messed it up. I hated it. It wasn't the worst thing ever, but I could not get the mouth right or anything, and I love the sketch so much more. So then I was like, okay, let me just try and start over again, because I started working on editing that video, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And I kind of still feel that way a little bit now because of the way this pen sketch turned out that I did end up going with on the right. I do like how it turned out, but I went in with some hatch shading and I kind of just went willy-nilly with it, and I'm not super happy with how the extra pen turned out. I like it much more at the beginning, but at the same time, I really had to change some stuff around. That's why I ended up going in with a white pen and then Posca on top. Mostly because I liked the sketch, but it didn't fully look like me. I'm not even fully sure if it looks like me now, how it turned out after the finished product, because I have a really distorted view of myself. It's so hard to draw yourself. I think some people find it easier than others, but I've never had a harder time drawing anything in my life than trying to draw a picture of myself. I did paint myself once, and it was a large acrylic painting, and it took me over a week to get it right because I actually painted me and my partner together for our home, and it took so long to get it right. I just can never tell if something actually looks like me or not. Sometimes I feel really confident in myself, and sometimes I feel really low self-esteem, so I think that maybe that could be a factor, but I'm not really sure. This video itself is actually inspired by Tamuka's video. Some people call her Tameka. I saw her Draw With Me video, or her Hi, This is Tam is actually what it's called. But she drew herself and spoke a little bit about herself, and I saw it when it came out such a long time ago, but her art style was always such an inspiration. I loved the way that she used colors and maximalism in her backgrounds. And so I thought, starting my YouTube channel, let's go and make something inspired by that. I have a lot of people that I'm inspired by when it comes to YouTube videos, and so I have a lot to work with when it comes to inspiration. So I'm super excited to do a lot of videos in the future where I hopefully can do some creepy drawstas. I actually started working on a creepy drawsta video, and it was really difficult for me because I recorded my digital drawing. And one thing I wanted to talk about in this video was, I've seen other people talk about this, but when you're younger, it's so much easier to draw all the time. It's so much fun, and you can draw frequently and easily, and it just comes to you so naturally. But at some point, when I was in my late teens, I switched over to heavily drawing by reference. I think it was easier for me because the stresses of life kind of start getting to you whenever you start working and things like that. And so it's a relaxing thing to be able to draw from reference and try and analyze something to the point where you can accurately copy the size of features and things. And I think I started doing it because I wanted to be able to do portraits of people accurately, or at least semi-accurately. But once I transitioned to that heavy reference point, I find it really difficult now to draw something straight from my head without making something that is inaccurate in a way, just like the first drawing that I tried to do with drawing myself. And I really feel like I can draw without reference. I do it frequently in my sketchbook where I do little practice drawings. So I can draw without a reference, but when I try to draw a character or a person without a reference, and I'm trying to draw something specific, like make it look a specific way, that can be difficult for me. And I think maybe the main issue was that I was drawing myself. But I miss being able to draw in the style that I used to draw when I was like an early teen. I would draw these characters so frequently that I wrote stories about, because at my heart, I want to tell stories. The reason why I was talking about comics when I brought up my Posca pins is because I really want to publish some picture books and comic books in the future, but I also have great ideas for novels and stories that I want to write, one in specific. And I'm hoping that in the future I can do some really cool videos where I share my sketchbooks. I don't get to share my sketchbooks that much with people in my real life because they don't enjoy looking through them as much as I do. But it's so nostalgic for me to have so many memories attached to all my previous sketchbooks. And they have really cool ideas and stories and characters in them that I would love to share in videos. So I'm hoping that maybe if I share them here, even if I don't do anything with those stories, at the end of the day, I don't publish them into real books and things like that, someone can still appreciate all of the ideas that I had when I was younger. A big inspiration for me when I was younger was my dreams, because I'm a very vivid dreamer. So I would always write stories based off of my dreams. I would change little details and characters and things and make a story out of them. And so I have so many characters in my old sketchbook. They have fully fleshed out world building or in-depth details to their personalities. And I would love to share those with people who just like to listen to things. At this point in my drawing, I knew that the mouth didn't quite look right. And my hair also looks kind of flat, but in person my hair is a lot more poofy typically, because I use a flat iron to make it stick out. Much like if you know Alice from Twilight, that's kind of what I do with my ends. And I'm always cutting my hair over and over again because it's just so fun to cut my own hair. And I'm always adding like 3 more layers every time I redo my hair. In person, I have these orange strips on the sides and the top of my bangs. And when they fade, they turn into a cool copper color, and I really like that about my hair. In this photo, I drew my stone earrings that I recently made and I really love. I took 2 huge stone beads and then chained them to little earring posts. And there's a scarf also featured in this drawing that my sister made me and my partner, and we have matching huge crocheted scarves with this beautiful gray color and a golden strip. I quite like how the drawing looked at this point, even though I know I shaded it a little bit funny and I was trying to fix the mouth and the teeth. So I went over with white pen. I quite like drawing teeth and mouths, but sometimes when you put them on a portrait, they just look messed up typically because they're too rounded is what I have a problem with when I draw them on someone. I think that I like how this sketch turned out better than the other two because in between the sketch, and there goes my Posca pen bleeding everywhere. In between this sketch, I actually drew myself as a Na'vi from Avatar on my digital tablet. And I think that helped me a lot kind of look at my features, even though I warped them for that portrait. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try and analyze my features as much as possible and not think of it as drawing myself, but think of it as just drawing someone. I haven't practiced with Posca pens in so long, but I just bought these little thin ones and I absolutely love them. I used to draw with them quite a bit whenever I bought like one thin Posca pen at an art store in New York. And I'm glad that I ordered these ones. I'm trying to make some products actually to sell in person in a store near me. So I think that I'm excited to get back into using the Posca pens again. My plan is to use them on small canvases and magnets to draw one-to-one originals, and I'm quite excited about that. At the end of the drawing, I wrote some things just like Tamuka's video, where she wrote down things that she loves or enjoys. And I wrote a little list of things. I'm a really big foodie, so I love trying new foods, and I enjoy cooking as long as I'm not like super busy. I always experiment with dishes and I mix up different seasonings and things, and I've been trying to learn how to expand my cooking ability. So I've been making specifically more Arabic food, and also we kind of switch between Arabic, Asian, and American food at the moment but I love experimenting with cooking. I absolutely love sweets as well, and sometimes I get a little bit addicted to sweets, and I do think I eat them too much, so I try and take breaks so I don't get too addicted to sugar, but I do think I have struggled with like sugar addictions because I'll just eat and eat and eat sugar. And I think it comes from the fact that I get that energy boost from sugar, which helps me a lot because I do have trouble with fatigue. I have a couple different health conditions, and so I think that's why I consume so much sugar sometimes. And obviously, everyone loves sugar. I also love fall time, autumn. I've been getting back into reading a lot. Avatar is my #1 obsession, but I also love dinosaurs and animals. And I'm thinking in my next video, I'm thinking about possibly drawing animals that I saw recently going to the zoo. Here I'm just doing a little doodle of my cat. His name is Cow. He just turned 5 a month ago. He's so cute. I did his eye a little bit wonky on one side, but it's okay. I love drawing just straight up with the pen and not doing any sketch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really fun to make. I'm enjoying doing voiceovers, and I'm nervous to try to draw and talk at the same time. I'm gonna keep going and try and make some more fun videos, and hopefully you guys keep coming back. I would love to just create a community because I moved recently and I don't have anyone here yet. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to find some people. I'll see you guys in the next one, hopefully. Bye!